feeling? Walking into a giant wonderland of toys, aisles lined with action figures, dolls, bicycles, Lego sets stacked to the ceiling. It was every kid's dream. And at the heart of it all stood one name: Toys R Us. For decades, it wasn't just a store, it was the store, a cultural landmark, a weekend destination, a reward for good grades or birthdays. But then, almost as quickly as it rose, it fell. By 2017, the giant had filed for bankruptcy. By 2018, nearly all of its US stores were gone. What happened? How did the biggest toy retailer in the world, an empire that once bragged about being where a kid can be a kid, end up playing with financial fire? Today we unpack the rise and fall of Toys R Us, the iconic brand that taught millions of kids how to dream, and then became a cautionary tale in corporate mismanagement. Let's rewind to 1948. Charles Lazarus, a World War II veteran, had just opened a small furniture store in Washington, D.C., called Children's Bargain Town. But it wasn't cribs and changing tables that caught customers' eyes. It was the toys. Parents kept coming back, not for furniture, but for playthings that made their children smile. Lazarus saw the trend early. By 1957, he opened a dedicated toy store with a catchy, childlike name and a backwards R that looked like it had been scribbled by a kid. Toys R Us was born. And wow, did it explode? In an era before Amazon, before Walmart's toy aisles, and long before online shopping, Toys R Us was it. A magical place with every toy imaginable and enough variety to keep kids and parents coming back. The mascot? Geoffrey the Giraffe, a friendly, smiling symbol of joy and imagination. By the 1980s and 90s, Toys R Us had gone global, operating hundreds of stores around the world. It pioneered the concept of the category killer, a store so dominant in one retail segment that it wiped out the competition, and it worked. Local toy shops couldn't compete with the scale, inventory, or prices. They were the Amazon of toys before Amazon even existed. But that was part of the problem. As the 2000s rolled in, the world began to change, and Toys R Us didn't. Their stores started to feel outdated. Cluttered aisles, aging signage, and very little innovation. At the same time, competitors weren't standing still. Walmart and Target were growing, and they weren't just cheaper. They were convenient. Parents could buy groceries, clothes, and grab a toy, all in one place. And then came the real disruption: Amazon. Suddenly, toys weren't something you had to fight weekend traffic to buy. With a few clicks, you could get them delivered to your doorstep. No lines, no chaos, no stress. Toys R Us, instead of adapting, doubled down on its old model. Even worse, they made a deal with the devil. In 2000, Toys R Us struck a 10-year exclusive partnership with Amazon to be the exclusive toy vendor on their site. Sounds smart, right? It wasn't. Amazon quickly started letting other toy sellers on their platform, undercutting the deal. Toys R Us sued Amazon in 2004, won the case in 2006, and got out of the deal. But the damage was done. While Amazon had been refining its e-commerce muscle, Toys R Us had missed the entire wave, and the hits kept coming. In 2005, the company was bought out in a $6.6 billion leveraged buyout by a trio of private equity firms: Kohlberg Kravis Roberts, KKR, Bain Capital, and Vornado Realty Trust. Now here's where it gets grim. This deal didn't infuse Toys R Us with innovation or strategic genius. Instead, it saddled the company with over $5 billion in debt. Imagine trying to run your business while making $400 million in debt payments every year just to stay afloat. There was no money left to modernize stores, no budget for a meaningful digital transformation, no space to compete with Walmart or Amazon on price. They were just trying to survive. To make matters worse, new toy trends were emerging fast. Fads like fidget spinners, Hatchimals, and YouTube-driven crazes. Retailers needed agility to jump on these trends. Toys R Us, buried in debt and red tape, they were drowning. It wasn't like Toys R Us didn't try. They launched a website, they opened temporary pop-up shops, They tried to add interactive displays and revamp store layouts, but everything felt too little, too late. They had one final push in 2017, planning to redesign stores into playgrounds where kids could try toys in person. A nice idea, sure, but again, no cash. The debt was a noose around their neck, and investors weren't patient. Then came the final blow. In September 2017, Toys R Us filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The plan? Restructure, shed some debt, and come out stronger. But it didn't work. By March 2018, they announced they were closing or selling all 735 stores in the US. Tens of thousands of employees lost their jobs. The dream was over. It was heartbreaking. Videos of Geoffrey waving goodbye went viral. Parents who'd grown up with the brand mourned its loss. And kids, well, many didn't even notice, because by then, their world was online. Could it have been saved? That's the million-dollar question. Analysts argue that Toys R Us was too slow to change, too arrogant to evolve, and too burdened by debt to innovate. Its leadership missed the digital curve, underestimated big-box rivals, and relied on nostalgia instead of strategy. But others say the real villain was the private equity deal. The debt load left them incapable of reinvention. The business wasn't broken, it was just suffocated. Either way, the fall of Toys R Us is now studied in business schools around the world. It's a warning to every legacy brand. Nostalgia doesn't pay the bills, innovation does. Here's the twist, Toys R Us isn't totally gone. After liquidation, the brand was bought by True Kids Inc., which tried to relaunch a few stores in 2019. They were small, tech-driven, with play zones and interactive setups. But then came COVID-19 and the plans fizzled. In 2021, they tried again, this time opening stores inside Macy's locations across the US. As of 2023, there were over 400 Toys R Us shops inside Macy's. It's a far cry from the glory days, but it's something, a spark in the ashes. This story isn't just about business, it's about childhood. For decades, a Toys R Us was where birthdays began, where dreams were built, and where magic came in boxes wrapped in bright colors. It was more than retail, it was emotion, it was memory, it was imagination on shelves, and maybe that's why the fall felt so personal. But maybe, just maybe, that's why the name still carries power. Because no matter how digital the world gets, no matter how much retail changes, kids will always want to play, and someone, somewhere, will always try to build a business around that. Toys R Us may have lost the battle, but the dream it sold, that never really died. Let us know your favorite childhood memory from Toys R Us. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.